Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Beekman Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd like to just note the exits, one here at the end of behind us, one at the back of the hall, and the entrance that you came in. If I could just invite everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so I want to just thank everyone for attending this evening. Welcome. So just to start with a little bit of housekeeping. We're in receipt of the minutes for the October 2025 and November 2025 meetings, and I'd like to make a motion to accept those minutes.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed. Okay. So I'd like to, so at the last meeting we adjourned the Stanky Pole Barn hearing, so I'd like to welcome the applicant back up to the podium. So, motion to open the public hearing?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
So, good evening, sir. Thanks for coming back. Happy New Year. Okay, so just to review here, this property is, the application is relative to 15 Walker Road, grid number 6759-001-00442, zoned R90. The applicant is requesting relief for 4,802 square feet as the required square footage exceeds 25% of the principal structure, which would be 478 square feet. For this accessory structure, the applicant is requesting an area variance. Proposed structure is 60 feet by 88 feet. The applicant is requesting relief of approximately 20 feet due to elevations as the required height exceeds height of the principal structure, but under the 35-foot maximum. Applicant is requesting a height variance. So, Council, we touched on this last time, and I'm hoping you can help clarify this. So you have a principal structure, and then up the hill behind it, a proposed accessory structure. And so the proposed accessory structure is, the height of that, we said, was going to be, sorry, can you?
The original was 26 foot.
Okay. And
if we went with the revised number, 24 foot.
And so as you submitted the application, 26 feet.
Foot, correct. And I also had submitted it as 88 by 60, which was 5,200 square feet, but you asked me if I could downsize it, and when you came to visit.
I appreciate it. Okay, so the proposed accessory structure, as it's presented in the application, is 20 feet tall or 26 feet tall. So I guess my question is, would the applicant need a variance for height, given that the only reason why we're talking about the height of the structure is because it'll be up on a hill behind the, so I understand that the code to require that the structure not exceed 35 feet.
Right.
And it wouldn't exceed 35 feet.
Right.
So it seems to me that a variance wouldn't be needed for the height. Is that?
Well, unless, what is the height of the principal structure?
Oh, I see.
14
It
feet.
is.
Oh,
Of
is
the
it?
home?
Yeah, so
Well, it's lower than where this would be.
Well, I know it's
on the hill.
lower in elevation,
Yeah.
but, and I understand that distinction.
Oh, I see.
But I think just if the highest point of the principal structure is, what did you say, 14?
14, I
feet,
believe,
and the highest point of this is
26,
20, did you
Six.
bring it down to 24, you said?
24,
All right.
24. That's-
So what it does do, though, is reduces the variance.
Yes.
But by making it a 10 foot,
I
did
got
I do
it.
that right? 14, between 14 and
10.
24 is 10
Yeah.
feet,
10 feet.
right? That's the
I
variance that's
see.
needed. Yeah.
I see. So, and I don't think we have the height of the principal structure on any of these drawings. Is that correct? I don't
No.
think, right?
No,
Okay.
you don't have it.
So I guess we would be guessing at the height of the principal structure.
Well, I mean, basically, the interior ceiling is 12 foot,
Yeah,
and then you have between, it goes up at an angle. So it's very, it's a flat roof that's on an angle. Okay, so you have that, then you have 2x10s, right, and then 2 inches of insulation, so, basically,
so
Roughly
council,
about 14.
would we need to know the height of the principal structure?
You need to know it before a final approval. You could certainly discuss the
Got
thing.
it.
I mean, assuming that this is going to be pretty close to the mark, I would guess, you would have
Got it.
enough information to make a judgment call on the extent of the variance in general.
Got it.
You'd need to
The
know
order of
it before you
magnitude.
could actually finalize any
Understood.
resolution.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, so we may have to come back to that, but we'll
yeah.
proceed.
Because you have to, one of your criteria is to determine how substantial the variance is.
Right.
You can't really make that finding
Without knowing exactly the height.
If
Okay.
it's substantial. I
All right,
agree.
so I think we adjourned the meeting for the purpose of giving the board members the opportunity to go and see the site, and I know the three of us were able to do that. I think what I'd like to do is take us back through the criteria and just kind of review based on what we were able to observe during our visit.
Sure. Would, you want me to walk you through that?
Well, I was
Or are you
going to...
have, yeah, go on.
Yes, invite the applicant. Okay, so, sorry, I'm just trying to find, so, sir, if you wouldn't mind just taking us through the five criteria again, and then giving us the opportunity to just factor in what we were able to observe.
what exactly criteria?
So the five criteria in your application for the area variance and your narrative explaining what
Oh,
you,
okay. I'm looking to see if I have my original application. Just give me a minute.
no,
I think it's here. I thought I
Oh,
saw
that's
it.
even better. I had my speech, but
No, it's okay. Yeah, those are the criteria.
It's in here.
okay. Brought my glasses this time. I'm better prepared this time. Okay, so will the undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties be created by granting the variance? In my opinion, no, I do not believe that the neighborhood character will be affected. The existing home cannot be seen by the majority of neighbors north from the Walker Road or Route 55. The proposed pole barn with the choice of natural blending colors is located behind the home, and sight is hindered by trees, shrubs, vegetation, as well as the elevation of the property. We're very much higher off the two roads that the property is cornered on.
so for the board members, did you have any thoughts on this that you wanted to, any comments on anything based on your observations when you,
I do believe that, yes, the way it was set back and the way there is trees all around it, it would blend fairly well.
Not to mention, I also had stated that I would put arborvitae around in an L shape
Yeah.
on those berms right there. So, I mean, it's even hindering it even more. I'm adding, I mean, there's enough nature there as there is, but I'm,
Yeah.
you know,
So
willing to add more if it's,
Yeah.
you know,
That-
an issue with, you know.
that part, I think, I was okay with. I don't know about,
I was more concerned with fire issue.
I know,
Right.
I was gonna mention that.
And
anyway.
fuel,
Yeah.
you know, fuel doesn't freeze, so I don't see why you can't separate your work, not by a plastic thing going across. To me, you have like 7 gasoline items and you're heating it with a wood-burning stove, and you have a very small road. There's no way in heck a fire truck's gonna get up there. And God forbid, something happens, and not only you, but all your neighbors are at risk.
and the
So,
woods.
you know, if
We
you
were
want,
talking about
if you
water
want to
retention.
separate it and put the fuel items on their own, and put the wood-burning stove on its own in your work spot, how about it? But to me, that's just asking,
I'm not married to a wood-burning stove.
That's just-
I mean,
I
I'm
just
willing to
think-
use a regular,
that's
I have
asking
an
for
oil
trouble.
burner in the house, you know, as it is.
Okay, well, I think we'll get back to that.
That's my
I think that goes to how the structure will be used.
Yeah.
But I think we'll come back to that. I did note when I was there that because the structure is, proposed site of the structure would be behind the primary residence and several times larger than the primary residence, it would really tower over it. So I think, you know, as I thought about how it would look from the perspective of the neighborhood, you know, we had talked about the fact that there was a ravine or other things there where, you know, if the structure was more tucked away in the landscape, that I think it would be more helpful, you know, and obviously understand that the site that you're proposing is what you think would be best. But, you know, from looking at it and seeing it in person, you would have a smaller home and then a very large structure higher up on the hill, kind of towering above it. I think that is not the most helpful layout in terms of that, but I understand it'd be unavoidable.
In my opinion, I don't mind it being that way, and if no one else can see it, I don't see the harm in it.
Okay.
Originally, I had, when speaking with the building department, wanted to put it down below on the flatter area of the property, which would be closer to the road and a little harder to camouflage, but would also be putting that structure in front of the primary residence, which is also a violation. So I'm picking the lesser of the two evil. So I have more work involved in putting it at the location I showed you, but I can camouflage it much better up there than I can down below where it will be street level and everybody can see it.
Okay. All right, so the second criteria?
Can the desired result be achieved by some other means than granting a variance? Possibly, but the desired result would be a site located a significant distance from the property and of unsustainable and unbearable financial cost. My statement there is referring to leasing a property somewhere else or buying another piece of property somewhere else. I guess with some of your suggestions, we're talking about putting up another building, you know, instead of one big building, two buildings, and putting it on different parts of the property. But that all requires another variance, putting it in front of the property, in front of the primary residence, which also uses up more property to put up two structures as opposed to just one structure.
Anything from the board members on that?
Not necessarily in that. I think,
Linda, anything?
I-
Okay. So one thing we talked about, and, you know, you provided us with a helpful kind of schematic that would show the way that you're proposing to use the structure, and you show us on the schematic number of items, where I put it.
Some of many. I mean, it was basically to show you where I got that size building from, because if you just take, you know, some of the quick things that I came up with, I mean, I certainly didn't list every single possession that I own that will be in there, nor would I really like to do that in a public forum.
Yeah.
But,
No, and you're not.
So
you're not
I'm
required
just saying,
to.
you know,
Yeah.
it's not written in stone, but that's basically where I justified the size.
So, and the reason why I'm asking is because, you know, based on the code, there, you know, you could have a structure that would be 478 square feet that wouldn't require variance. So what I was trying to get a better understanding of is the need for a 5,280 square foot structure. And when I visited the site, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to visit, you know, I noticed that you had a pickup truck that you had pulled into the footprint of the proposed site of the structure, and then you had a small backhoe and a couple of attachments. The items that you envision placing in this structure, were you to build it, are they somewhere on that property, or are they
Not right now, no.
elsewhere? I see.
I
Okay,
pay to have them someplace else.
got it. Okay,
Which in the future is going to be expensive if I, you know, with limited income coming. You know, I want to bring, you know, what I want to keep, you know, that's important to me.
Sure.
With me.
well, and the reason why I ask is because from a, you know, roughly 500 square foot or even a 1,000 square foot structure where we'd be granting a 2X variance from the town code to a roughly 5,300 square foot structure, you know, it's like an 11X multiple. So I was trying to envision and looking at the, you know, satellite imagery of the area, the only structures I could find that were anywhere close to the size of the structure you're proposing were commercial buildings. So I'm trying to envision how you plan to use the structure so that, you know, it can help us understand.
I mean, I don't know if people are using them for commercial purposes or not, but I came up with 4 examples that I brought with me.
Okay.
Of properties that have houses that are smaller than their pole barn or barn, okay? And one of them is right across the street on Dorn Road, down closer to where Route 9 is.
Okay.
Okay, and they have a 3,000 square foot house, which is 2 stories. So
Okay.
the footprint is like 1,600, I believe. I wrote down the specs, and I have property listings with me. Because I wasn't exactly sure how this was gonna go, so I brought packets and things. I just wasn't expecting to break it out right at the moment, but if you go, it's 227 Dorn Road. They have 11.69 acres. And there's 2 homes on the property. One is 3,046 square feet with 1,600 square foot on the first floor. So its footprint is 1,600 square feet. Okay? And the other structure, which I'm calling a home, but it's called dependent residence. So I don't know what that really is, a DR1. But that's 2,600 square feet. And it doesn't say that it's first or second floor, so I'm assuming it's all on the same floor. But the thing is that on that property, they have one barn that's 528 square feet and one barn that's 13,650 square feet. 13,000, okay? That's 2.5 times the size of the structure I'm looking to build.
Sorry, can you share those addresses with us?
Absolutely. Can I just give you everything that I bought this one?
Please.
I bought 5 copies because I know that's what Cheryl wants. And I tried to email, but I couldn't compress it small enough.
No problem.
I guess I can.
Do you have enough? 'Cause
Yeah, I brought 5.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, it starts off with the pictures that I showed you of the junk.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So the Dorn Road property that I'm referring to is the last one, all the way at the end of the packet.
Where's Thorn Road?
Yeah, that's one. Is that, just as we review this, in terms of an 11x multiple of the size that would be permissible based on the code, is that the closest one, do you know?
Well, it must be permissible because it's there.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I mean, do you know if there are other examples that you're sharing with us here?
Yes, I have 22-49 Legacy Lane.
Okay.
Now, it's 84 acres, and I understand the size of the property is different, and it's zone rural residential / agriculture.
Okay.
So as far as its use is concerned, I'm sure it's different than my use. But you're talking about 3 houses on that property. 2 of them are 1,600 square foot, and the third one is 1,232 square feet, and he has a 7,200 square foot pole barn, or barn, whatever.
Do you know
I don't
when
if
these
it's a-
structures were put in?
Well, this one on Townsend is fairly recent.
And
Okay.
number 7 Townsend was another one. And he has a 4,800 square foot barn, so that would be the size that I would be willing to go down to from my original application. And then, of course, the one with the picture is 1146 Route 216, which we pass by every time we pull down this road, is that barn that's up on the hill there. That's 7,200 square feet, okay? And that's a 3,800 square foot house with 1,988 square feet on the ground on the first floor. So I guess in comparison for area, that would be the closest to my house, which
Okay,
is
so
1,900 square feet. And it's actually more, it's 3,000 like I explained when you guys came to visit. If you go to the aerial shot and you measure with the area tool on the property, parcel access, it measures 3,000 square foot of roof. So that's how much space that my building occupies. And actually, Sissy's house is approximately the same size if you measure her roof off. So the square footage that's listed in the property values are livable square footage, right? So that's not going to include basements and closets and things of that nature. But if you just want to talk about area and measurement, if you're using my 1,900 as the criteria why 4,800 is too big, using the same criteria, and I think 13,650 is a little larger than what I'm looking for. And the Townsend one, which Linda had mentioned, is 13 acres.
If I can just, first of all, thank you for all of these. I actually do appreciate it very much. I can tell you, though, that I would need more than just this time here to really look into this and look at the details, okay? But I do appreciate it.
I brought them up, and I'm bringing this up because it was something that Chris had said to me when he was there, was that by giving me this variance, it's setting a precedent for everybody
Yes.
else. So I just went looking, satellite pictures, and I'm looking for rooftops, and then I looked up the parcel, and then I saw, what it is. So
And-
I'm not a precedent.
No, so, just to be clear, everything we do, we have to consider it from the perspective of how significant the variance is. So your proposed structure would be an 11 multiple larger than what the town code proposes. So that's why
You're
we're...
measuring off the 480 square feet.
Correct. That's how we're required to consider that.
And that's fair, that's fine.
Right.
But as long as you're gonna apply that same multiple to the Dorn Road property, or the Townsend Road property,
That's
or
what I wanna
all the
see.
other properties.
When
Right.
it
I
would
mean,
really
they have the same issue that I have.
circumstances.
Well, and our only challenge is that we're not considering a variance for those properties, we're considering one for yours, and so we...
Again, it goes back to the precedent
Yep.
word that you used on me. I just wanted to say that I'm not the president. It's already been done.
I think the best point that you're making in that regard really goes to the question of whether it changes the neighborhood character. And I think your point is there are others.
In the neighborhood.
Structures like this in
Absolutely.
the neighborhood. But to your point, Mr. Chairman, I think the thing you'd have to do a little more work on is, you don't know under what auspices these other buildings were approved,
Right.
what the zoning might have been different, different things may have been permitted. I'm not saying they're not relevant, and we can look into
Right.
them, but it
Well,
is. it doesn't matter.
that's exactly what I'm trying to, and that's why,
And they might have been some of them might have been pre-existing.
Well, I didn't count any of the ones from the 20s or 30s, because there's plenty of those.
Right, so-
I kind of figured that.
just to take the example of the Dorn Road property, that large structure is a horse barn. So now, and when I came out
Yeah,
to
you said it would
visit,
be better for me if I had horses, and I said, if I need horses, I'll get them. I mean, that was kind of a joke I was making, but.
no, so,
What's the difference?
right, so one of the things that we have to consider is how you propose to use the structure, right? Because if the proposed use would be an Amazon warehouse, that would be very different. That wouldn't be an accessory structure, right? That would be a primary commercial use, right? So that's why we're trying to, and that's why I mentioned to you that I really appreciate the schematic that you shared with us, where you lay out the things that you contemplate putting in there, that the only purpose really for this structure would be to store all of this equipment and to do a little bit of woodworking or whatever you're proposing that you would do in some of these areas. And those questions are all helping the board to understand what this structure, what the purpose of this structure would be. So I appreciate the insights that you're sharing with us. When I visited, you shared with me what you do for your business.
You asked me,
Correct.
and I answered.
So can you just share with the board, what is your, did I understand you to say you own a business? And can you just share with us what that business is?
Well, it's a manufacturing job shop.
Okay.
And we deal in laser cutting, forming fiber, fabricating, welding, drilling,
Got it.
And we work for people. I also mentioned to you that, I have woodworking part of that because we do set work down for different architectural firms that work on Broadway.
And could I ask, could you remind me where that business is located?
It's in Danbury,
It's in Danbury, Connecticut. And could you share with us how large that facility is?
23,000 square feet.
23,000, okay.
And this is, you own this? Or
Yes,
You
not for
own,
long.
you own that facility?
I don't own the building, no, I lease the building
Got it. And why do you say not for long?
because I'm retiring.
You're
I'm
retiring?
turning it over to my employees.
Oh,
I
you're
see.
selling the business,
Yeah,
kind of.
not for profit, I can tell you that.
So your employee is definitely taking the business over.
Yes,
So will all that
Stays there.
Stuff that's in that building
Yeah.
stays in that building.
All I'm talking about for this building is from my stuff, my
Okay.
personal things.
And you're keeping the house in Pauling, or that's being
No,
sold?
that's going up for sale.
Okay, so then you'll be.
I
living-
want to retire in Walker Road.
Okay, because
Okay.
can I just, when I was there, I noticed something coming out of the house. It was like a white, it looked like an accordion pipe. It was white, it was coming out of the front, it was going across your front lawn.
No, it's a black pipe, it's a gutter
Is that-
pipe.
That's a gutter pipe?
The gutter comes down, and then I have this accordion-style hose that guides the water down so that it doesn't run down the hill and erode away the dirt. It dumps it right into the drainage that's at the driveway.
Oh, okay.
And then the driveway takes it down the hill.
So, just to clarify one thing, currently, the way you envision this property and this structure that you're proposing to build, I understood you to say you don't live there right now. Is that fair to say?
It's a second home.
It's a second home. And
I spend weekends and vacation days there, just like the people I bought it from did.
got it. So is it currently in livable condition?
Yes.
The interior, yes? Okay.
Well, there's stuff in it.
No, well, the reason why I ask is because I had noticed a couple of things as well. Among them,
I don't think a broken window means that the house is
No,
not being livable. I mean,
no, I mean, there was a broken window that was boarded up, but, you know, I was wanting to just see what the access was like to the front door. That's quite challenging. I gather you don't
to
use.
that front door, there's two front
Right.
doors, that's the
So
point.
to climb up to that, you have to kind of
We don't
climb
u-
up a hill.
We don't use that door.
You don't
We
use
the
that.
one on
And
the
then
porch.
the back door, the stairs adjacent to the house there were really broken up, and
And I said not to use them. yeah.
you recommended not to use them, and we didn't, in fact. And so when you access the house, is it your practice to walk around
I go in through the garage and walk up the stairs.
Okay, got it. All right.
Like many people.
But in dry weather, and when, you know, the time is right, I plan on replacing the steps. I mean,
No, I understand. I guess I
it
was.
wasn't on my priority list, it's the
Yes.
things I had to do.
And that's one of the things I was trying to envision is if this proposed structure is an accessory structure, then, you know, what were your thoughts on the priority of repairing or facilitating access to the inside of the house?
Well, I mean, it's not a priority to me at all, because I can access the inside of the house
Through the garage?
through the garage, because
Okay.
there's stairs that go from the garage up into
So-
the kitchen.
Understood.
So, you know, I mean, I can use those broken stairs. I prefer not to have strangers use
Yeah.
them for a liability issue.
Sure.
But, you know, since we don't get visitors, it's really not an issue. But if
Got it.
a friend of mine comes over, I say, don't use the stairs, walk around on the grass.
Got it.
But again, I'm looking at it as that's one of my projects to do after I'm done. You know, my time is very limited right now with what I can and can't do for myself. And once work is out of the way, now I have 24/7. I can do
Sure.
whatever I want when I want to do. We were closed down between Christmas and New Year's, which we do every year, and I spent the whole week there.
Sure.
So, you know, there is no lack of work to be done around the property. But
Sorry, did you have a-
Yes, I just wanted to, and again, thank you for all of this outlines. One of the things that was mentioned is when these things did come about. And just looking, at the horse barn, 1991. So it may very well have been before the most recent master plan, that kind of thing. And that's what I was saying. I think we were all agreeing that we need to look at the details, and that's why you may still be a precedent kind of thing that we need to be careful about. And that's,
when did
again,
this law that I'm arguing about right now, when did that come about?
I believe it was the early 2000, if I remember correctly. That's when the most recent master plan was done, revamped.
And I didn't save myself a copy of the packet that you have, but
I'll give
that
this.
that 7 Townsend Road, when was that built?
2007.
2007?
2007, okay.
So,
And again, there is a lot of details for me anyway to absorb and see. But there is an issue. For example, and this is just an example, we had somebody in the last couple of years that wanted to do a very similar idea like what you have. And the variance was just a little bit too substantial. So we went back and forth, and one of the options, which we did approve then, was to build a smaller structure. And he did not have the kind of equipment you do, granted. And for the, was it the RV that was decided to
RV.
have it under a carport?
Yeah.
So that would give the room and the coverage, but still not have that kind of, sorry, that kind of
you want to recall?
large, thank you, I got my tea. That kind of substantial variance, okay? So, but please understand, because we want to avoid, first of all, we have to always have a balance between the town law, the applicant, and the rest of the residents as well. To avoid that it becomes a uneven process, okay? So please understand that's why we ask, and we're very mindful that the decisions that we make can potentially have a lot of implications going forward.
So just to put a fine point on one or two more things, can you remind us when you purchased this property?
2012.
2012. And have you resided at this property? Has this property ever been your primary residence?
No.
No, okay. And just to go back for a second to my prior question, the proposed structure that you're planning to build, your plan is to build that imminently. Is that fair to say? As the variances are granted, you're
Within the year. By the time I leave.
Got it.
I need a place to bring my things.
Sure.
And I would like to have it there beforehand.
Got it.
So that it doesn't sit outside.
And might it be the case that you may not move to this, into this home for years?
No, a year, within the year.
That you'd build the structure and move in, is that?
Yeah, I'm not building the structure, I'm having it built. As far as the
Yes,
home is
no, of
concerned,
course.
I can handle what needs to be done in there.
The reason why I'm asking is I'm trying to get a sense of whether this structure that you're proposing would be an accessory structure, or it would be the primary use of the property. And
No.
that's why I'm asking, because I took note of the fact that you had indicated that the home that you purchased this in 2012, and that in the last 14 years, you never lived there. And so.
Not as a primary residence, no.
Right. I mean, you never lived there, right?
I spent the night there.
Yeah. And so I was just trying to get a sense of whether you thought it might be possible that you will never live there.
That's not a possibility, no.
Okay,
Because that's not my plan.
got it.
You know,
So
the property was bought with a plan in mind, and it was supposed to have happened years ago.
Okay.
And things happened personally that didn't allow that to happen.
And just so we can understand, what makes you confident that you would, your sale of your primary residence and making this your primary residence would coincide with the use of this structure at the
I don't understand the primary residence as opposed to this. What does my home have to do with?
Well, again,
Building.
the reason why I'm asking is because if it's likely that you would be building this structure and never moving into the home, then from the...
Then I don't need the structure. I mean,
Well, no, I mean...
that's the point.
Well, you indicated, well, I guess that's what I'm trying to understand, so that's why I appreciate your clarification. So you indicated that you have all of these items right now.
And then some, yes. I have a barn in Pauling that has a bunch of...
You have a
crap.
barn in Pauling?
Yeah. it came-
Oh, that's what holds all your,
It came, not all of it, but a lot of
How large is that barn?
That barn is 30 by 40,
Okay, so you have a 30 by 40
2 stories.
two-story barn in Pauling?
Yeah.
Okay, and is that at your primary residence?
Yes.
That's at your primary residence?
30 by 40?
so
It holds all your...
if it holds all your stuff,
Doesn't hold all my
it
stuff.
doesn't.
It holds some of my stuff. A lot of my stuff is in
it's in
Danbury
Connecticut. Oh,
and in Brookfield and in places that I pay for. And I can afford to pay for because I own my own business and I can use it. You know, the money that I make from owning my own business can afford to pay for it. Once that is gone, it all has to leave.
are any of those items that are in your business, your businesses, are they coming to this pole barn?
Yes.
Not the stuff that you use to work now, correct?
No.
Okay, just double checking.
I have a mezzanine in my facility in Danbury
Okay.
that is packed with model trains, layout, you know, things of that nature, hobby stuff and things that I've collected over all my years.
Okay,
That's all coming too.
yeah.
What I sift through that,
That's
not every
understandable.
single thing that's there, but
Okay,
So I just want to make sure I have it right. So your primary residence is at 31 Coulter Avenue, is that?
Yep.
right? And is the barn at 31 Coulter Avenue?
Mhm.
Is it a new barn?
not at all. It's over 100 years old.
I'm just looking on parcel access and I don't see a barn. So that's why I'm asking. Is it,
My barn is directly next door to the garage of my next door neighbor. She has a red one, I have a white one.
a 30 by 40 barn?
Roughly, I didn't measure it exactly.
Yep, yep.
30 by...
Do you have a picture of the barn?
No.
That's a pretty big barn.
I just don't see it, so that's why.
Are you looking at a picture of the property, or are you looking?
I'm looking at parcel access, and I see the home, and, you know, the road
So-
frontage of your lot is 159 feet, right? So I see the home,
You see the driveway? Coming off of Coulter Avenue, follow the driveway all the way to its end, that's the barn.
okay, maybe we'll follow up on that. I don't see that here.
what is the address, 31 what?
Coulter.
Coulter.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question to clarify something for myself?
Please.
I presume the reason you're trying to drill down on the house thing is, and maybe this will be helpful to you, is that in order for it to be an accessory structure, it has to be an accessory to a residence. If it's not a residence, it's not even a legal structure. It's not just an area variance, it's a use problem. So I think what the chair is trying to just determine is to ascertain with some certainty that this is going to be a residential.
I stated that at the last meeting, and I'm stating that again. I am trying to get in there by Thanksgiving of next year. That's my goal. So, that's what I've, arranged with my employees, and, if that's not a possibility, I need this summer, because of the time it took to get to where we are today, I've lost a whole year's worth of construction. So, I was planning on doing this last year, so now I'm a little bit more under the gun, but my plan is still the same, and I don't see a reason why I can't execute it. And I had stated that I want to sell the house, I want to live out my life, the rest of our days, on this property, and in this house. So I don't think that that's really in question anymore. I would hope that. If you don't think that I'm being forthright, I don't know what to say, other than I have no reason not to be.
You know, so when I visited, and again, I thank you for your hospitality and the opportunity to no, you were very kind. I have to say, I mean, I didn't feel at all like you were trying to avoid showing me anything, or I spent quite a bit of time.
I thought, I want to say, I thought it was my idea that you come visit, because you could see how set back and foreign it is. I mean, it's...
So, and so what I'm trying to do right now, and I mentioned this to you when I visited, was that I view my role as trying to help you to accomplish what you're trying to do. And so what I'm trying to understand is how we can explain the variance that you're requesting, so that as we set a precedent here for the size of the structure that you're proposing, that it's a determination that we can stand by in the future. And one of the analogies that I gave to you was that the town, for example, requires that a structure be no taller than 35 feet. And I said, an 11x of 35 feet would be a structure that would be over 350 feet. And so I was trying to imagine us granting a variance for a structure that was 350 feet tall in the town of Beekman in a residential setting. And
I don't think that's a fair comparison. I'm sorry. I just...
Well, I think...
11x from what's allowed is going to be 300 feet in the air. I mean, come on.
Right. So here, the variance...
You used the bowling alley analogy when you were at my property too. How do I justify putting up a 33,000 square foot bowling alley? I mean, how am I supposed to tell you that?
No, and that's why...
You asked me what the criteria should be for somebody who wanted to do that. I says, well, the first thing I would look at would be property size, okay?
And that's why the question...
And the amount of property that your structure occupies.
Yes.
In this case, it's only 7% of the acreage.
And that's why the questions that I'm asking are in an attempt to get a better understanding of what you're trying to accomplish, so that I can understand how granting the variance would achieve the objectives that you're trying to achieve, while at the same time taking into consideration what the town code is and the context in which we would grant such a variance. So that's why I mentioned to you, for example, that a horse barn would be a structure that I could very easily imagine in the town of Beekman, and that it would be very consistent with what I would expect to see in, even in a residential area.
When you drive by a horse barn, do you know there's horses in it?
Well,
So
I think...
if my structure looks like a horse barn, that sounds like a ridiculous analogy,
Well,
and I mean it with all respect.
No,
I'm not
appreciate
trying to be a wise guy. It's just that, you want to know what I'm going to use it for and what am I putting in it, and it's such a huge structure, and I think that I've shown good comparisons that in relationship to other properties near me, it's not that big a ask. And the thing is that in my specific instance, it's located on the property in such a way that no one will know it's there unless they listen to this meeting, and they happen to be Sissy's house and the one next door. And I feel that once I put up the arborvitae and the fencing, they're the only two people I have to worry about.
Okay, shall we move on to the next criteria?
Number 3.
What did I put it now?
It would be 3.
I didn't give it to you, did I? By
No,
accident?
Is this
Here,
it? This is what you need? Right?
Do you need,
No, he had my packet. It was the thing with the red writing.
With the red one.
I must have given it to you by
I
accident.
have, okay. Do you want to use this? You're down to number 3. at the bottom there.
Is that the one?
No, it says, this is just a summary of,
No, I'm not sure that's the one.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Okay, number 3, is the variance substantial? I believe so, but because of the size of the property, I feel it fits well and will not appear out of place. And again, if you refer back to the other properties that I've shown you, in relationship, it's not that big a deal, big an ask, I'm sorry, substantially. But from your perspective, from 480 square feet to 4,800, I get that. But in comparing to other things, like they do in real estate, comparables, right? I want to get $500,000 for my house. Well, what is 1,900 square foot house selling for, you know? So that's the comparable. So that's my answer on the substantiality.
So can you, one of the things that I was struggling with as I was thinking about my visit and your application was just the size of the proposed structure. So if you could just walk me through, so the barn that you indicated that is at your current residence in Pauling is 30 by 40, so 1,200 square feet or so.
Roughly.
Roughly. And so.
And it's 2 stories.
2 stories. But it's 2 stories where you're not bringing trailers to the second story or anything like that, right?
No, nor can I put a trailer inside because
Right.
it has a partition wall inside because it used to have a hay loft or a horse stall in it. It's not laid out anything like this, whereas this is clear floor.
So, I mean, obviously the schematic here was a guide for us to try to understand how you would use the space, but could you just walk us through again, how did you arrive at the 5,200 square foot number? I mean, so one of the things that I had asked you when I visited
If you look at all the things on the drawing and add up their square footage,
so
you can do the math.
And that's, no, I appreciate. So these are, the things that are here in the schematic are all things you own currently. Is that right? They're all property you currently have right now.
The only thing I don't have in my possession right at the moment is the RV. It's in Florida.
Oh, I see.
My in-laws.
Okay, so you plan to bring,
Who are in their 80s and they can no longer use it, so
Got it.
that's how I end up with it.
so you plan to bring that RV up
Yes.
here? And then everything else that's here, you currently own
yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
And before I asked, I'm hoping you can guide me on, where is all this property right now? Obviously.
In Danbury, and some of it not,
So it's
things
at-
that are not on that drawing are in the barn at my primary residence.
So the barn at your primary residence is 1,200 square feet, and the rest of this property is at your business?
Correct.
I see. Okay, so you plan to bring about 3,500 square feet of stuff from your business to this structure?
I didn't measure it to give you that number.
Right, but I'm saying you have
But you also have to understand that there's projects in my mind that I want to accomplish before I die, things that I want to do.
Sure.
Part of my woodworking, I'm a pilot, all right, I have my pilot's license. I want to build a replica of the Wright brothers airplane. Do I have to put that on my application? Do you know how big that plane is? I mean, I need room, you know.
Right,
to
you
spread
might
that
want a
out and build
hangar.
it.
Yes.
I mean, I know how to build large things. Like I said, we build sets for Broadway. You know, the light bright wall in Hairspray, we built that and 4 traveling sets. And that light bright wall, you know, is 40 feet long by 25 feet tall.
Yep.
You know, so, I like big things, what can I say?
I get it. Okay, so the reason, just to make sure I understand, you arrived at the 5,200 square feet because you want to bring all of these things to this
Right,
structure?
all of those things, and I want to have enough room to do other things.
Got it.
Okay, and just like when you're doing tiling or things of that nature, you add 10%.
Sure.
Right? So in case you get cut offs and things of that nature. So I kind of took the numbers, I rounded them up, and I said, 88 by 60 is a nice round number, and the 60 is a nice, really nice number because I can put other things in front of certain things, so I could get more stuff in there.
Yes.
And I'm not going to deny that I won't be going to flea markets and picking stuff either.
Sure.
You need a place to put stuff like that.
Absolutely. Okay, do you want to take us to the next?
Okay, number 4, will the variance have an adverse effect of impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? No, the natural topography along with existing trees and vegetation will make the proposed pole barn difficult to see and naturally facilitates rainwater soil absorption. Which I think I had explained that the rain, especially after we were discussing fire prevention, was, the collection of rainwater, it would be perfect for a system of that nature. And we can bury a 1,000-gallon tank, right in the ground so it doesn't freeze over the wintertime with a hydrant access for a fire truck if it was to come. Not to mention I have a well at the house and we could drag a hose up, from the house. But all the drainage is going towards 55, not down my driveway where my current drainage goes. So any drainage that does come off of this building goes down the natural swales all the way down to the bottom and into the ground. Because I've never seen even rainwater that ran off my driveway and onto the lawn. I've never seen the water actually make it down the swales. So I know it absorbs in that ground because I got really nice topsoil, to be honest with you.
Okay. Any comments or anything?
Could you, if you want to use a wood burning stove, could you at least put a firewall in between your workshop and all the gasoline held items? I mean,
Well, look,
cement or whatever.
If there's a fire code that I'm violating by doing what I want
I
to do,
would-
I by
I would
all
check.
means want to obey by the fire code.
I just, that's,
I also, I was thinking of a wood stove only because of all the
Well, I
dead
understand.
wood that I have. But I mean, if that's a problem, then
I don't-
it'll be an
I
oil
just-
burner. I burn oil at the house now, so it
well,
would
you'd
be.
have to find, I mean, it would, but you'd go through so much oil with such a
Oh, I
high
understand
roof,
all
it would
of that,
be
but,
ridiculous. But,
you
so
know.
wood burning stove makes sense,
But in my,
is there
to be
a
honest with
way-
you, in my shop now, I mean, we have 25-foot ceilings and it's a huge, large open spans with 16-foot doors, which are constantly being opened and closed, so it's
Yeah.
not really that warm. I'm used to that. I'm using the heat system to take off the edge and to stop items from being damaged by
that's all
extreme
I
cold.
was concerned about, was
But-
more
Okay.
that.
But I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm afraid of fire. I've had fires in my previous life, that I was, involved in, not necessarily,
Yeah,
but, and it's something I have a lot of respect for. And we deal with acetone. We use acetone to clean all of our parts. And if you know anything about acetone, it flashes like dynamite.
Yeah, that's-
It's like instant. There's no
Well,
wait time, there's no, and it's extremely volatile. So there's a lot of respect. We have fire
maybe you should
cabinets.
put a firewall
Where,
in
well,
between.
we have cabinets where we store all of our chemicals and stuff like that, but, it's actually even more volatile than paint thinner. But I mean, I have paint thinner at my house now as it is, not in large quantities. I mean, you get the little, was it a 1-quart turpentine type size, can. And that was one of the things that I was going to address with some of Sissy's concerns from the first meeting. Was that she was concerned with hazardous waste. And that I just wanted to, specify that there will be no hazardous waste chemicals used or stored in the structure or during construction that is anything different than what is currently used on or present at either one of our houses, meaning gasoline, oil,
Yeah.
grease, lube for the tractor. She owns a tractor, I own a
Yeah.
tractor, So it's all common stuff.
But
There's
any of the
nothing-
stuff from your company any of those chemicals won't be coming. Okay,
No.
that's a
And
good thing.
we don't use very many chemicals. We use
Yeah, but
gases, but we don't use very many
I
chemicals.
just,
But,
I'm glad. because
the laser machine, just to give you an idea, I cut 12-foot by
Yeah.
6-foot sheets.
Yeah.
So the machine itself is 34 feet long.
Yeah.
But I have no interest in doing that.
Yeah.
I want
You're
to
gonna be
focus
done.
on Ed
Okay.
and my wife. That's
Okay.
why I put her stained glass studio in there, because
Yes, I like that.
she has one now, and it's 1,200 square feet, and, she still has glass samples and things that she's made all over the house. I mean, it's just,
I'm coming over. I like stained glass.
she would love to have you, to be honest with you. She really enjoys it. I mean, I turned her on to it, and I can't turn her off of it now.
It is fun.
Okay,
Okay.
shall we move on to the last criteria?
Sorry.
No, not at all, please.
Okay, is the alleged hardship self-created? Is the alleged hardship self-created? And I say perhaps, in that I'm choosing to build a structure that requires more area than the existing home. But I could also argue that it's only a hardship because you're requiring it, because that's the law. That's I didn't create that law, you did. And again, I'm not trying to be a wise guy or anything like that, but I mean, I didn't really know how to answer that question. I guess I'm creating it because I want to build it, and it doesn't fit the criteria that the town wants. But if the town didn't have that criteria, then there would be no hardship and we wouldn't be here. So that's just an honest answer to the question. So
I appreciate it. And one of the things that I had asked you when I visited was if it would be workable to have like a 400 square foot structure as the structure that you'd be building here, which then you wouldn't need a variance for, or some structure that was some multiple of 400, 500 square foot.
the tractor wouldn't even fit in 400 square feet.
Right. So, but could it be 1,000 square feet, or could it be 2,000 square feet?
No.
No, it would have to be 5,200 square feet.
No, it can be 4,800 square
Okay.
feet. It can be, in that area. But, again, if you which is why I put the dimensions on each individual thing, to give you an idea of, how big everything is.
Got it.
And then you want to be able to safely move around it. And of course, like I'm sure your garages at home are packed, and
Sure.
I'll probably end up packing that.
Sure.
But I said to myself, well, I think 7,200 square feet is a little excessive, you know what I mean? And, 3,500 square feet, I think is going to be too short. I'm going to end up with stuff outside. And
And just
then when it comes with the height, again, with the interior height originally being 16 feet,
Well, the height, I don't
there
think-
was always, possibility, okay, I could put a mezzanine in there, right? An 8-foot mezzanine, so I could put stuff upstairs, like I do now at work in Danbury.
Sure. And just to clarify, a 2,000 or 3,000 square foot structure wouldn't be enough, even if you could build two structures, because your goal is to have all these items in one structure, and having them in two structures wouldn't be workable. Is that?
Well, that's not really a fair
No.
assumption. Is it workable? Anything's workable, right? You can do anything. I can build almost anything.
Sure.
The thing is that in order, and I did investigate this after our meeting, is I called the gentleman at Federville, and I asked him, how much is it to put up two 2,500 square foot buildings? And he says, it's 50% more. He says, and realize that it's going to take more property to build that, unless they're going to let you put the building right next to the other building, which means then what do you need two buildings for? And then you have the double the cost of electric service, you got double the heating bill, you got double everything.
Sure.
So to me, that seems like a penalty just to get two buildings as opposed to one. But is it workable? I guess, I could put the two largest things in one building, and use one of them mostly for storage, but for the things like the trailers that I bring in and out and the implements that I bring in and out, I won't be able to put anywhere near them. They would have to stay, in that building, But
So you mentioned having two buildings adjacent, and I remember you had mentioned that when I came to visit, and I was just a little stuck on, why would they have to be adjacent at all?
to keep them hidden.
Well, I mean, your property is quite large, and there would be a lot of places you could put.
Well, there's a lot of places I could put this building.
Right.
But I'd need a variance to put it there.
Right, and one of our challenges is the size of the variance that you're asking for. In fact, that's our biggest challenge. And what I explained to you when I visited was that, you know, I'm trying to understand, trying to think through how to get at an 11X variance. And so, you know, if we grant 11 times what's allowable by town code, I don't know how we stop at 11, don't go to 20 or 30. So I was trying to think through, and that's why I was asking you the questions about how you plan to use the space and why two structures, because you have the land to do it, wouldn't work, or something of that nature, because I want to try to understand, you know, how we get to that 11X. That's my challenge.
Because in two structures, none of them will be 482 square feet.
Right, and I guess
So
that's...
you would need the size variance anyway. If I was to put them in a different part of the property, I would need the size variance anyway, and I would need the variance to put it in front of the primary residence.
Well, so just to be clear, the reason why I'm asking is because if you were coming to us asking for a variance for a, let's say, 2,500 square foot structure, that would only be about a 5X variance from what the town code allows. So that's a much, much smaller variance than a 11X size differential. And that's why I was trying to understand, I guess, at the core, you're really looking to put all these things in one space.
Yeah, if possible, yeah.
And that's your goal. And if
Well, it's like this. If you want to make it even smaller, then the things that won't fit in the smaller building end up outside in the yard.
Well,
And she gets to look at it. And I get to look at it, and I don't want to look at it.
that's,
You know, I mean, the whole point is that I don't want to have to look at it. I like the property for what it is.
That too, though. I mean, you can't just leave stuff laying around the yard either. I mean,
No,
that's
it's not a pretty sight.
Hmm?
Nice.
Okay.
Just leave stuff in here.
and that's the point. We have asked other people to do just that, to have some stuff outside. They didn't have as much as you do, granted, and that's my concern. It's how substantial this is. And can we, in the future, be able to say, okay, these were the reasons, and as Chris mentioned, then the next person is going to want what?
But
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm trying to look at both sides.
Yep,
but in
sir,
his
we all
defense,
do, yeah.
that house that we looked at, one was in a more tightly knit residential area.
Right.
His house is very close. It also had it flattened and went down a little.
Mhm.
No way like that. It wasn't surrounded by trees
Mhm.
like that. Didn't have a 17 acres like that. It wasn't the very last house, which is
Mhm.
the very last house, pretty much on the
Okay.
right-hand side of Walker Road.
I'm listening.
So I know you're looking at that house, that we did that,
Mhm.
but that house is completely different from his house and his property. His neighbors would actually have seen everything that he had, because it was a wide open space.
So I think, just to give the applicant the opportunity, if we're done going through the criteria, then I'll invite the applicant. Sir, did you want to say anything else before we open up for public comment?
No, I mean, my biggest issue was, I wanted to show you the other properties, because that word precedent stuck in my craw, and I was just, it's not different than what's in the neighborhood already. Now, the timing of when it was built, okay, I guess you got me there. But it's not as if you're gonna see this and know, wow, that was just put up, because A, you're not gonna see it, and B, there's no cornerstone on it that says, erected in 2026. So, I mean, it's basically, it comes down to this. I did everything I was supposed to do. I sent all the notices out. I put the ad in the paper, and we had our first public meeting. Out of the 33 people that I contacted, 2 showed up. Okay? And they both had their concerns, which I would like to address, at least from that first meeting before we go on to new concerns, was that none of them were about the size of the building. Okay? My neighbor, Michael Mann, he wanted to know if there was going to be another driveway, which there isn't. I'm using the existing driveway. There's no development going on. In other words, I'm not putting up condos or assisted living or any of that stuff, because I spoke with him that night after the meeting, and him and I are almost like twin brothers, because we love the property for what it is. You saw what it was, all 3 of you, and you can't deny, and even Sissy has said that it's a beautiful piece of property. And the last thing I want to do is deface it. But at the same time, I'm not offended by a 5,200 square foot barn, as long as it's tastefully done. And it doesn't look like my barn in Pauling, which has fallen down. It's over 100 years old and, it's decrepit looking. But, for what I want, it doesn't affect me. To have to look at my boat and to look at my trailers and to look at my...
That's not
what I want to do. You know what I mean? That's not what it's about. But at the same token, I want to have a place where I can do my things. I mean, I built all my storm windows for my house, and I lugged them back and forth to work. You know what I mean? Because I didn't really have a place to do them. But all new glass, all new frames, and I want to be able to do more of that. I want to build my own kitchen cabinets. I'm not going to do that at work. I want to do that in this structure. And I want to maintain my tractor, my implements, my pickup truck, my cars, whatever, which I do now already up there. It's just that, I may not have to do it now in my basement, where you can smell it in the house. You'll smell it in this building. So, I see it, and I wasn't trying to be a wise guy, and I'm still not, but it comes down to that cliche that, if a tree falls in the woods and there's nobody there to see it or hear it, did it make any noise? And that's basically how I feel about this building, is that if nobody knows it's there, then who cares? And I said, the 33 people that I sent letters out to didn't seem to care, because they didn't come. And some of them didn't even return the receipt. Now, I don't mean that to lessen Sissy's concerns or my concerns any more than they already have, but the majority says, have at it, Ed, do what you want.
Right, and, I can speak from my experience that I've lived in areas where a neighbor was operating a business or some activity where there were a lot of trucks in and out of their property, and those trucks are, might be engine braking all day long. So, I think it is helpful to understand, in a residential area, what the impact would be. So for example, one thing I mentioned to you is if you were proposing an Amazon warehouse in your backyard, then there would be a lot of trucks coming in and out of your property.
Correct.
So that's why it's helpful to understand as much as possible.
But I'm not looking to build an Amazon warehouse.
So,
and the only trucks that are going to be making noise are going to be my pickup truck, and the construction people, whatever they drive, and the construction process. After that, there is no business. I offered and I gave you a deed restriction stating there will be no commercial activity going on in the property, nor can there ever be in the future. So, I'm trying to cover all the concerns that I think people would have. And obviously that was one of them for you. So I thought I nailed that without ever having to ask.
Okay.
Maybe we can ask, yeah.
So,
the attorney.
in addressing Sissy's concerns from the last meeting, like I said, I already told you about Mike, the neighbor, about the driveway. That was his concern. Sissy had made some comments about rain runoff. Okay, and I just explained that. As far as the rain runoff, it's going off the other side of the house, not going anywhere near her property. There will be no construction materials anywhere near the property line. It'll all be in that area that you saw. The staging area is up there, it's on one half of that area, and then, of course, where I had the yellow tape is where the building goes, so there's no reason for that. And I will make sure that nobody dumps anything on her property. So there will be no debris, you know, unless there's gale force winds and something gets picked up and brought down there, all it takes is a phone call and I'll take it, if I don't see it, and do it on my own. Okay? The garbage that she brought up that somebody dumped on her property at the first meeting, whereas I know she didn't accuse me of doing it, and you had asked her multiple times, did she ever ask me to remove it? She said, no. I removed it.
Did you?
And there's the pictures, I sent you the pictures of what it looked like before, after I cleaned it, how I got rid of it, and it's in a dumpster and it's already in somebody else's landfill, okay? And I'm not doing that out of admission of guilt, I do that because that's the kind of guy I am, okay? If my neighbor needs help, I will help if asked. I don't force myself on people, because I've gotten burned too many times doing that. But if you were to come to me and say, my driveway I need you to help me plow out the driveway, I'll tell you this, I don't know how to plow it. I plow my own, and I destroy the edges all the time. So I'll warn you that I'm gonna destroy your lawn, and you may not be happy with the job you're gonna get, but what do you want for nothing, right? But I would do that, and the same thing goes for something with my tractor. You know, if you need a backhoe, if you need a hole dug, yeah, it's what I do. As long as we're all getting along together, there's no reason not to. And, you know, I was upset that she didn't ask me to remove it, but then says that she doesn't accuse me of doing it. But I did it anyway. If it scores me points with her, I'm happy to do so.
Sir, I just want to be respectful of everyone's time. Was there anything else that you thought was really salient?
No, that's about it. The only other thing was that she brought up about, you know, hazardous waste and things of that nature. And I said then, as I just said now, there's nothing there that she doesn't already possess on her own property as well as I do now.
Got it.
So,
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
so I can give this back to him now, right? Thank you very much.
Okay. So you can have a seat, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, so I'd like to invite any members of the public who'd like to make any additional comments to step up.
Seeing the weather might turn bad tonight, I will refrain.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Abstain.
All right, seeing no one, I'll go ahead and move forward. So,
You ready?
Say that again?
If I can just
Did
ask,
you want to measure?
just a quick question, if you could just guide me anyway. My biggest issue is how substantial this is. From everything you have heard tonight, are my concern something that I should, what should, yeah.
Let me jump in. I can't substitute my judgment for the
Right.
judgment of the board. I will say this.
Right,
You have enough on the record, in my opinion, on both sides of this equation to
Okay.
make, to make a reasoned judgment of your own on it, right?
Okay.
You do have a letter from your building inspector, and that matters too. There's no question that it's substantial. The applicant has said that it's substantial.
yeah,
It would have precedential value, it would.
It would,
And I
right.
recognize that that feels unfair when you know there's other uses or buildings that look similar, but no two zoning circumstances are the same. And even if something was allowed in the past, that does not bind you to do something you think is a bad idea in the future. But I will also say that the 5 tests for area variances, and you probably know this from your experience, none of them are dispositive. So it's not like, you don't have to pass every one with flying colors. The whole thing is a balancing test. So myself, having just come into this discussion, for your sake and for the applicant's sake, I would prefer to have a little more time to give you
Thank you.
some thoughts, do a little research, that I can provide you with before you make a final decision. I don't want to speak off the cuff. But again, I would say you've done a very good job creating enough of a record for you
Okay.
to make this decision.
Right, thank you, because that continues to be something, as I said, I loved all the outlines you gave us, but it's understanding when was what. As of tonight, I would like a little bit more time. One more meeting, look at all of this stuff, and I apologize, I know you've been waiting a long time, back and forth.
Not all your fault, there was plenty of people that came before you.
So I'm not prepared
I
to,
think you adjourn it and we do what we have to do.
yeah, And
Go
then-
measure the existing, the house, see what the real height is, so we know what the real height variance.
Well, and would the applicant provide us
You could
with,
just, yeah.
we just have the applicant provide
Yeah.
Yeah.
something from an architect or?
That way, all your,
Somebody to come in and prove that.
the height is the least of my,
no, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, that
You
way
just
all
wanna
your
know
i's are dotted
factually
and
what
t's
it
are
is.
crossed. That way, if you have that done, before the next meeting, get everything done that you request of him, so that come the next meeting, it's a yay or a nay. We
yeah,
don't have to keep
Yeah.
have you
So,
come back, yeah.
doing that.
just to clarify with council, so what would be the format of that? How would the applicant provide that information to us?
I think he could just submit it
could-
in a letter. I wouldn't think it had to be an architect's. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Just submit it to Jessica, I
yeah.
guess.
Well, don't get anybody hurt, but just anything that visually shows it, yeah. yeah.
To the building inspector?
Yeah,
to
just submit
Jessica?
it the same way she would
Well,
submit
to the-
something
Submit the
to
letter.
you.
To the board, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
to confirm the height. I will do some homework on some of these other buildings, but also just some general homework on the state of the law, on these
Yeah.
kinds of matters, and provide you some backup, and then you can make your decision.
But I
Okay.
mean, just to be clear, that the height isn't really the issue here, is it? I mean, you're talking about the size of the structure. I mean, I understand it is a height.
Yeah, it's-
It's still gonna be an issue.
10-foot difference.
Right.
Whereas the size of the building, you're talking.
Yeah, but in order for them to give, in order for them to give you an approval to build what you want to build, it would have to address both nonconformities.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that, that may not be the one that, that gives much pause if we can get past the others. But I think at least we should know what that height difference is,
Yeah.
because that's the extent of the variance.
Should be on the record anyway.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to adjourn this item to the next meeting.
Yes, please.
Do I have a second?
Hold
Second.
open the.
Hold open the
Yeah.
public hearing. Second,
Second.
roll call
All in
vote.
favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, you said to keep the public hearing open?
Keep the public hearing
Till
open.
next meeting.
And adjourn this to the next
And
meeting.
then, because you're holding the public hearing open, you don't have to do the notices all over again.
Yeah, you,
Oh,
Right, just so you know. Just,
and
We-
please don't
we
make
held it
any
over
more
last time,
copies,
so-
Don't do that either.
Okay, so I think we have 3 votes aye.
Are we all gonna save our copies, please?
Oh,
So he doesn't
yes.
have to keep on.
I will send, Cheryl,
Can-
electronic copies of all of that also.
yeah.
Okay, so thank you, sir. We'll see you next time. Yes, thank you.
You're
For-
excused.
for-
We do
for this evening.
appreciate it, though.
Next,
So to be clear, he's submitting a letter.
with the height of the primary structure.
And anything
Yeah.
else that needs to be on the plans you mentioned?
I mean, if you did 4,800, that's only saving how much?
It would still be better than,
It would still be better than
52.
52.
Maybe we'll save that for next time.
yeah.
But
Okay.
I just would like,
Yeah.
I want to help
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
kids.
yes.
I don't.
Okay, so next item on the agenda is the Salka Greenhouse. It's an area variance 39 Indian Pass, grid number 675703059064, zoned R135. The applicant is requesting to legalize the existing structure, a greenhouse, as it was constructed prior to the new owners purchasing the property. The greenhouse is located in the front of the house, and is larger than 25% of the principal structure, as it is 800 square feet. The house is 1,560 square feet. The maximum size of an accessory structure for this size home would be 390 feet. Therefore, the applicant is seeking variance of 410 feet. The greenhouse is also located 29 feet 4 inches too close to the side of the property, and is requesting a 29-foot 4-inch variance. So I understand the structure is just over 10 feet off the property line, is that correct?
Off the side property line.
Off the
that's
side,
correct.
yes. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I think that's a misprint, actually, because I think, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
That's okay. I'm Steve Whalen of Whalen Architecture. I'm representing the owners
Great.
of 39
Good
Indian
evening.
Pass. Because we have on the site plan, which we provided, so what is required, it's actually 10.6 feet off the property line. And required is 40.
okay.
So, yeah, I guess that math works out to be
Is it,
29.
sorry, is it 10.6, it's 10 foot 6 inch?
Or 10, whatever, 0.6, that's like 10 feet, 7 inches.
Okay,
I'm just going off the survey.
no problem.
It's-
I just want to make sure we give you
Yep.
the right variance.
45
Correct.
Indian Pass.
So that, I guess that would be 29.4 feet.
Okay,
I guess just the way that it was worded.
got it. Okay, so, so if you could just introduce what this, what the applicant is requesting, and then take us through the criteria, please.
Sure. So as you stated, yes, the new homeowners, they bought the house, the greenhouse was already in place. We have no record of when that greenhouse was built. We don't know if it was 2 owners ago, 3 owners ago. But this all came about because we recently legalized the accessory apartment. We've been before the planning board, that all got approved, and that's how this came about. So we looked through like some of the older records, and there's nothing on file for this greenhouse. So we're just looking to legalize it. A couple of months ago, we met out there with the building inspector. She didn't have any issues with it. We met with a contractor who took a look at the structure, and to move it, to relocate it, to disassemble it and bring it into the backyard to legalize it is going to destroy it. And the homeowners, they really want to use this, so we're here before this board to legalize this, just to keep it in place. I mean, there's really nothing we can do to it without taking it down, and that's really not the avenue they want to take.
Understood.
So it's going behind the house?
No,
It's already
It's already
exists.
there.
it's
in
going to
front of the
stay right
house.
where it is.
Where, and I'm sorry, could you tell me again, where is it compared to the house? Oh,
I have pictures.
wait, I got it.
Or enlarged pictures.
I got it. Oh, okay, yep.
Isn't that the front of the house?
Oh,
Yeah, this
there
the
it
front of
is.
the house. It's already existing.
It's existing,
that's it.
yeah.
Here, it's on the.
It's in the
on
front yard.
right
Front yard.
And it's,
And you're moving it?
no, they're
No,
proposing
they
leaving it
just
where it
need
is.
a
Oh, so this was
variance
done, they put it up
before they
without
bought
getting
it,
a...
and there is no record of
The
any.
prior owner.
But isn't it on cinder blocks?
It's on like a stone foundation.
Oh, okay.
Is it
That's why you
an
can't-
active greenhouse?
The
A
owners have been using
working,
it.
okay, okay, so it's a usable, it's not just,
Correct, yeah, it's not
City.
just like a storage unit. They
gotcha,
are actually using it as a greenhouse.
as a greenhouse,
And you
okay.
submitted something, right, I think from somebody who looked at it and said that moving it was potentially not
Yeah, that was from the
particularly feasible,
contractor.
right?
And we also submitted 2 letters from the adjacent neighbors, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't object to that being in the front yard.
Okay. Was the notice sent to the neighbors as well?
Yes.
A mailing, thank you. Okay.
Okay, so could I ask you to take us through the 5 criteria?
Yeah, actually, I don't have my copy either.
Here,
Is this it?
I got it, I got mine. That's street view.
Apologies, sir. I just wanted to clarify one thing that you mentioned. So I do see a letter here from a Miss Judy Deems, which is one of the neighbors. Do we have a letter? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. It almost looked like a letterhead, so I didn't realize this was a letter. Got it. Okay.
So you want me to go down the five
Please.
criteria then?
Please.
Sure. Will an undesirable change be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties created by granting the variance? No, by granting the variance, there will be not an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. The existing structure, the accessory structure is existing. I'd also like to note in one of the pictures that I submitted, I took that picture from not the furthest most point on the driveway. I took it about, maybe about 100 feet from the edge of the driveway. During the fall, you can't even see it. So it's like only the two adjacent neighbors are really the only ones that can see it.
Okay.
Want to go to the second one? Sure. Can a desired result be achieved by other means than by granting a variance? I said no, the result cannot be achieved by another means because the accessory structure was constructed prior to the owners purchasing the residence. And I also mentioned that we looked into possibly relocating it or disassembling it and moving it to the backyard. Can't do that either. And I also didn't mention that the septic system is in the backyard, so we can't even put it back there anyway.
Do you, just one quick question on that, or on something you mentioned. Do you know what the owners are contemplating if the structure does at some point become unusable?
I would say that they're going to repair it, because as
Okay.
far as I know, that's Anna, she's their realtor.
Oh,
Also
okay.
an owner's
Do you want to
representative.
approach, ma'am, please?
So, I was the realtor that helped them, when they were looking for properties, and we looked at 4950 properties, and I knew when we found them, and I thought, they're retiring, they're in their 70s and whatever, the greenhouse was one of the things, right? Because it's a very, very productive greenhouse. And they're, because of their retirement, they obviously wanted something to be able to do and whatever. And the whole thing then, the whole place was set up, apartment downstairs, house upstairs, but it's only the two of them. They're in their 70s, they don't have any kids, they're actually in Michigan this week for a funeral, which is why they're not here. So the whole package, it was looked at as an holistic package, and that's why they bought there. So I've been coming to all these meetings, and I've now become friends with them because I feel guilty that I've made them, kind of had to go through all of this and whatever. But productive, my God, if you want fruit and veg during the summer, you go there, right? And they're both in their 70s, and one of their relatives, who is 88, is very instrumental in the greenhouse with them.
Wonderful.
And actually, in the middle of the greenhouse is the wellhead, and it's all irrigated.
Really?
It is.
Wow.
I wish I
It's a
could
special,
like that.
it's a special,
Yeah, but we looked at everything, the contractors and so on, and as Stephen said, that in the back, which they have beautiful flowers and so on, but there's a whole area which is the leach fields. So unfortunately,
sure.
I think this would be part of the purpose. It would take some of their living away.
And just to go back to my question for a second, so it's your understanding, or what you can share with us from your understanding, that if the greenhouse were to somehow either be damaged in some way, weather or...
It will be fixed ASAP.
And they plan to try to just restore it to what it is right now.
It's beautiful right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
because I mean, you go in there, and as I say, they're giving the veg away, there's so
Sure.
much in there and whatever, so if there's any little bit of damage at all, as Stephen said, you can't see it because it's underneath the driveway, but it's the productivity of it, and it's the extra interest that it gives them in their latter years of life and whatever.
What is the exterior, what is it made out of, do you know?
What's that heavy plastic?
Yeah,
It's like plastic.
it's not, I don't want to call it plastic, it's like a It's like an old school greenhouse.
It's quite a durable.
It's not glass,
No.
it is a durable,
Which is why I think that when the
Plastic
doors
glass.
contractor came and he said to move that whole thing, it would probably fall apart.
Yeah.
And as I say, it's hiding the wellhead, but the well, because of the irrigation or whatever. Yeah.
but I mean, it is very well built.
Yeah.
It's just,
Is it a rigid, is it like a plexi?
it's,
Not as strong as as Perspex, but
it's stronger than plastic. I mean, I
Yeah.
couldn't
Okay.
like jab at it and like get like a pen through it.
I see.
I mean, if a tree comes down on it, yeah, it's wiped
Yeah.
out. But there really are no,
Could do that to a house, too.
yeah, absolutely. Or like a windstorm, I mean, it's survived. I mean, we've had some pretty
Yeah.
powerful winds.
Yeah.
the
And
property
it's-
is manicured like that. I mean, literally, when they were buying it, I said, you better bring the scissors. I didn't realize how good they were at horticulture and gardening.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Yep.
Next.
Okay, was number
2.
2? Okay. 3, is the variance substantial? I said yes, but the accessory structure was constructed prior to the owners purchasing the residence.
Do they have any sense when that structure was placed there?
No idea, because it was in all the pictures, the listing pictures.
Yeah.
So, and it was actually in the listing description.
Yeah.
So, when I came across the listing, that's why we were all prepared then when I went to see it. And it went through title, it went through both sides of attorneys, and there was nothing, and they got a survey done. So we assumed at the time that it was, I even came from the point of the building department.
Well, I'm asking in part because if it was there before we adopted the town code, then you may not need a variance.
Yeah, prior non-conforming use.
So I wish I knew when it was, because I'd rather tell you that you,
So they bought it in October 23, I'm gonna say. They didn't move in for a couple of months and whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. No, it would have to be, a couple of decades.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I'd love to say that it's been up for, 20, 30 years. I mean, my guess is that something was there to cover up the well tank, or the well
Yeah.
cap, and maybe they just expanded on it and then they stopped, but we found nothing. So I would just be guessing.
Well, I'm looking on parcel access because we have the historical images just to see. So on parcel access, you can actually see back,
How far back?
actually back to 1936. So I'm just
I
looking.
don't think it's that old.
Well, if it
Put it at
were,
90 years old, so.
No, they're wrong, it was 24 they bought it in. Yeah.
right.
Already.
So I just want to see if it is, now, I mean, I'm looking at, in 2009, it wasn't there, and that's already too new.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
so, all right,
They need a variance, yeah.
So
yeah,
whose property is it, whose property is the 10, no, it's going 10, how many feet off the property into the sideline?
10.6
10.6
into that's legally on their property. It's not going into any adjacent.
Anybody else's?
No, that's
Oh,
correct.
so it's just too close to the side? Okay.
Correct.
so it looks like it's quite new, because I'm looking, and, so I think around 2023 is when it was placed there. Because
24, I think, is the least people bought it, right?
looking back at 2021, I don't see it.
Okay,
So, okay, well, so you're in the right place.
okay.
Okay. So, number 4?
Will the variance have an adverse effect of impact on the physical environment, conditions in the neighborhood or district? And I said no, there's going to be no adverse effect on the impact or the physical environment and the conditions in the neighborhood, because it's existing, it's a greenhouse. We're going to have no chemicals in there. And again, like I previously stated, you can't see, only the adjacent neighbors are the only ones that can see it. And then the last one is the alleged hardship self-created. I said no, but only because the accessory structure was constructed prior to the owners buying the house.
That's correct. Right.
Any Any questions or comments from the board?
No, I mean, I think it's straightforward. It's certainly not self-created.
Right, so I
What's there, it's not an eyesore kind of thing. It's actually helpful, as far as I'm concerned. I wish I had a greenhouse. Of course, I kill plastic plants, so.
So I noted that this accessory structure is just over 2 times the permissible size based on the code, so that's a pretty small variance. And for a greenhouse, I think that's a lovely size for a greenhouse, so
Yep.
it made sense for what the use was to have it that size. And I was able to speak to, I guess, the property on the, I don't know if it's the north side of the property, the one neighbor's, the Hicksons, I guess the property, their house is, elevated, I want to say something like 20 feet. It's quite a hill. So I'm not sure they can see, they'd be maybe seeing the very top of this greenhouse, if they can see it at all, from what I was able to gather. And I was able to speak with the other neighbor, Miss Deems, and she's able to see this greenhouse from the front of her home, and she indicated that she had no issue whatsoever with it. She actually likes it. She feels like it's a positive thing for
Yeah.
the neighborhood.
I could
And
see that.
have a good night. And she indicated in strong terms that she had no issue whatsoever. So I think given the fact that we have the letter from the one neighbor who I wasn't able to contact, indicating that they have no issue with it, knowing the proximity to the property line, but I guess also given the fact that the elevations for their property, you really, the impact to them is very minimal, and the one neighbor was very comfortable with it. I think that's all very helpful to factor into our determination. Did you want to say anything else, sir, before?
No, I'm good, unless there were any other questions.
And so just to confirm, if the greenhouse, where something were to happen to it, to where it was damaged or had to be repaired, do you know if would they be looking to enlarge it? Would they be looking to change it? No.
No, and if that needs to be written into the
Yeah.
resolution, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not looking to go any bigger, they definitely don't want to go any smaller.
Sure.
But if it's, and just correct me if I'm wrong, if it is damaged beyond repair, I don't think they would rebuild
I don't think
it.
they would be replacing it. It's amazing for what it is, and hopefully we'll see them out there years. I don't think any of us would have the diligence to do the work that it needs, and so on. I think it would repair it, if it happens. Definitely won't go bigger. It's big enough to feed the neighborhood and the family.
Great. Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to open this up for public comment, but seeing that I think we've heard from... Sorry, ma'am, could you share your name with us again?
Yeah, Anna Buckley.
Anna Bar-
Yeah.
Okay, so
I say we vote on it.
I think we can go ahead and vote on it?
Yes.
Yes? So I'm going to, let's just make sure we have
The right variance.
this, yeah.
10.
Where did I lost? Oh, here we go. So, like to make a motion to grant a maximum size accessory structure variance of 410 square feet. A variance of 410 square feet, and a side property line setback variance of 29 feet, 4 inches.
Second.
No, second.
Second. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And unfortunately, you guys had to sit through all the
The
other.
patience,
Sorry.
yeah.
So I would draft something for you, right, okay, that's how we'll do that?
Yep, yep,
That's what we do.
Thanks very much.
We haven't closed the meeting.
yes.
Yeah.
Everyone, thank you very much.
Good night.
So,
Good night.
Night,
One-
drive safe.
matter
I'm supposed
of
to be bad.
housekeeping. So,
Yeah.
motion to adopt the schedule for the ZBA meetings for 2026.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Is David gonna,
Motion
David's
carries.
coming back, right?
Yes, I think just this evening he wasn't able to make it.
Okay.
You know who would like a greenhouse like that? Your wife.
Do you have one more member generally?
We
One
We
absent?
have,
I mean,
Like
there's-
one empty seat?
There's,
no,
Oh, 2 more, oh, great.
Is Maria still on here?
no,
No.
oh, she's not.
No.
Do we
So
have?
it's just David.
yes. So I'm going to make a motion to close the meeting this evening.
Second.
I'm good. Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you
His
very
wife-
much.
his wife
And
is
we
like-
are.
He
Is
should
she?
be a home